everybody has a motivation for what they do, and whether it's if they want to be a professional athlete or be a doctor, there's always something that inspires them to go towards that. My inspiration for film goes way back to when I was younger. There's a lot of things that I saw when I was a kid, um, whether they're good or bad. It made you feel a certain way, that you want to share with others, but you can't really do that. But as I got older, I started watching more and more films, and when I watched the films, there's always these, you always felt what the people in the film felt, or you always felt, depending on the angle of the camera, it made you feel kind of a certain way. And after doing that, I really wanted to try to do that for myself based off of all the things that I experienced. Personally, back when I was younger, I was into music, and so when I tell people my major is film, they ask kind of what inspired that, and it kind of goes a bit back. And people have asked me, including my mother, knowing that I've been playing music since I was 4 years old on the streets of Cleveland, whether it's drumming or piano. But there's I've always been into music, and then kind of the last 2 years of high school, um, I decided to go to film, and it kind of shocked a lot of people. But like I said, that's when I started watching more and more film, more movies, and I wanted people to feel the way I felt. So the closest way to doing that is through film, because in music it can be taken in any way. If you write a song, people can take it a completely different direction instead of how you intend them to hear it. When I came to Chicago, knowing that I was going to be a film major, knowing that Chicago is going to be basically the place that I shoot a lot of my short films for school. It really excited me because I knew that a lot of the people who came here were just as you know intrigued as I was, and just as excited, just as motivated as I was to make films and have people feel some sort of way. There's some sort of experience that they've experienced, or you want to move the audience. Like I said, being in the city of Chicago, there's a lot of people, a lot of competition, but there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of people you can work with. Um, Even if they're not in your field, like there's people in music you can work with. They can help you with background music. There's people in, just marketing and business and advertising. With all that available, it just makes the experience so much better. So the fact that Columbia is and that I can study film in a city like Chicago is really helpful, and I'm really looking forward to perfecting my craft here with all the things that I'm offered, all the opportunities that I'm given, and that's my story. That's why I'm here.
Is it rolling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When I moved to Singapore, I discovered basketball. In my new school, this teacher came up to me, that it was a coach there, and he looked at me and he told me that I was a tall man. And I told him, no, I play handball. And he was like, I don't know, what's handball? And the only sport I could play there was basketball. Around that time, I fell in love with photography, and a lot of my friends started skating. That was a huge opportunity for me because I would go every day after school after the homework was done, even on weekends. I would go to the skate park and just take photos with my friends. And the thing with photography and skating is that I was really good at capturing that one moment, that split second of my friend jumping up in the air with a skateboard. And it was great. I mean, at first it was hard because I didn't know how to use my camera, but day after day I got better and better. But at one point, I didn't want to capture that short sequence. I wanted to get that whole moment of my friend just riding before the jump, kind of get that momentum going. Him in the air with a skateboard, and then him and landing. And that's why I fell in love with filming, is because I wanted to get the whole sequence and not just that one little split second. At first, when my friends were skating, I didn't care if they were good or not. The only thing I wanted to focus on was me knowing my camera, knowing how to use it, and using it, and knowing like all the settings in the camera. But once I was able to do that, it was a bit hard to make my friends look good on camera when they were not really good at skating. And that's when I started to see that there was some limitation of what you can actually film. So I went back to photography, but not the same photography I was into. I went to like Photoshop and I started learning new skills. And at one point, I kind of wanted to mix Photoshop and filming together and create new worlds and new areas and new things like visual effects and stuff. And I loved it because it was like magic to me. It was just creating something new out of thin air, out of other images. I would just take bits and pieces from this photo and bits and pieces from this photo and just combine them and create this whole new world. And that's how I fell in love with visual effects. Since I was born, I traveled a lot around the world, but I've never been to America. Now that I am finally here in America, I have the chance to be in the greatest city in America, which is Chicago. I mean, I can film a lot. I can film the people there. I can film the park, the skyscrapers, the bean. It's endless. I can film so many different things in there. It's crazy. People just playing music in the street. It's beautiful. I love it, and I don't see what could stop me now. I mean, I have the city. I just have to go out there, film. I just have to play around with this thing here, right there, and come up with ideas. And I think it will be a great experience filming here.